Hello, everyone. This is Kyle Galaz with Poor2Pro Car Sales Training Podcast. Become a sales titan. We're in season 7. This is episode 3. We're going to be talking about emotion versus intelligence. It's going to be an interesting episode because it's going to pertain to us as salespeople, me as a manager, really us as people in general, and the customer. And we're going to look at both sides of this coin of emotion versus intelligence. And we should have some fun in this episode. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to all the listeners. And of course, I say thank you, and try to at least in every one of my episodes. But truly, thank you, listeners and supporters. You guys like my TikTok videos. You like my Instagram videos. You like my Facebook page. I mean, you guys truly, and you girls truly go out of your way to hit the like, hit the heart, hit the comment, and leave a message for me. I appreciate that. But before we get started in this episode, I want you to take a moment and applaud for yourself, because you guys and girls are out there trying to make things happen at your dealership, and after hours or before hours, you're trying to get better in the dealership. And that is what separates the 1% from the 99%. You're always training. You're training your body. You're training your mind. You're training your soul. You're training your, everything. And let's take a moment and applaud yourself. Hold on. That's for you listeners out there and everyone out there trying to level up. Pat yourself on the back. Don't be so hard on yourself that you're struggling, and I'm not making the money that I want to. I'm not making the money that Kyle says they're making out there. Trust me, you will get there. You just need to keep learning, keep training, keep applying yourself, keep being creative, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, and your character will shine through. And most importantly, I think is keep being positive. Man, positivity goes a long way. Just like the new salesperson, they don't know anything, but they're positive. They just got a new job. They're happy, and guess what? They start selling cars right out of the gate. So positivity, smiling, those things go a long way, and keep doing that. Keep smiling, keep staying positive, and be kind to yourself. All right. Season 8, we've already done a couple one-on-ones. If you want to book a one-on-one and be part of Season 8, message me, DM me on Instagram, Poor2Pro _Car Sales Training, or find me on Facebook. Friend me, follow me, Kyle Galaz, KYLEGALAZ, and let's hook up. It's $149. You get an hour session with me over Zoom. You pick the topics. You control the situation, and I'm going to help elevate your sales skills to the next level. If you want to know if it's working, message some of the people that have done one-on-ones with me and ask them, is it worth it? Is $149 worth investing in myself with a sales trainer? Well, I think so, because it seems to be helping a lot of people. It's saving careers. It's getting people to the next level. And, the more you train and get different ideas, the better you're going to get. It's inevitable. All right, let's get into this episode. Emotion versus intelligence. Now, what exactly I mean there is there are two types of people that we run across in the car business. There's the very, very intelligent people, and then there's the people that are very emotional. And sometimes there's a perfect blend of those two people. They're intelligent and emotional. And sometimes one outweighs the other. They're very emotional and they have some intelligence. And there's some people out there that have very little emotion and a ton of intelligence. And we run across these people like an engineer, for instance. The engineer mindset has very little emotion and a ton of intelligence. They want to look at the numbers. They want to look at the nitty-gritty. They want to look at the diagrams. They want to look at the payloads. They want to look at the horsepower and the torques. We meet these people. And I'm not saying emotional people aren't intelligent, but there's a blend. And what I've noticed in my career, customers that come in, you have to find out quickly if they're all emotion, low intelligence, high intelligence, low emotion, or a perfect blend of the two. And you'll know when you get them, because you'll have some people that blow out of your showroom. They're yelling, I'll never do business here. This is crazy. You guys are a ripoff, da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, I'm just showing you the numbers, sir. That is a high emotion customer with not as much intelligence. again, I'm not trying to insult anybody out there, but we have to recognize when a customer acts like that, they have more emotions than intelligence. And then you have a customer that sits at your desk and is quiet and looking at the numbers, and they're very, methodical on each line. They want to read each line. They want to take their time when in finance. They're in finance for an hour and a half, and your finance manager comes out and says, "Man, that guy looked over every single line. That girl looked over every single line of the contract." Yeah, because that is a highly intelligent customer, and they're not very emotional. So how do we adapt to these type of customers? First is to be able to recognize it. And a lot of times you can recognize it in the meet and greet. A person that's holding their cards close to their chest and not really revealing anything, they may not be as emotional as you are. You come out with the big smile and you're doing your song and dance and you're having fun, and they aren't showing any emotion. Okay, we're dealing with a person that might be a little more intelligent on their side than they have emotion. And so we have to be able to adapt to that. Sometimes we have to put away our normal routines of having fun, making them laugh, being outgoing, shaking hands and doing all this. And we have to maybe adapt to them a little bit. Not give up everything that we are, but sometimes we have to bring down our emotional side to match with the customer. The key is to match with the customer. We are chameleons. Chameleons can adapt to their environment. And if you notice, you a lot of times have to adapt to your customer. If your customer is methodical, guess what you have to do? You have to explain more. You have to talk about those things like horsepower, torque, wheelbase, payload, towing capacities, how many speakers the vehicle has. Sometimes you have to start getting into those things because you're dealing with somebody that has less emotions and they have more intelligence. So how do we adapt to somebody like that? We have to practice. And the way you get good at this is by making sure you're taking ups and making sure you're getting in front of more people. Because the more people you can get in front of, the more time you have to practice with these people. And also, stop talking as much and actually listen and look at what their body language is. Start paying attention to those little nuances that a customer does and think about what we're talking about here, emotion versus intelligence. Now, of course, the perfect customer is the one that is well balanced. They're half intelligent and half emotion. So they're fun to be around. They understand what you're saying. They get it. They understand how the car business, the prices are up. They understand how trades are down, and they can get emotionally involved and still have the intelligence to understand what you're saying. Those are the perfect customers. They remember you. They save your phone number in their phone. They care about you because they understand the value of a salesperson that's trying their best, and they understand the value of that car. A lot of times when you have a high intelligence person with low emotion, they don't really care about you. They don't really care about your family and why you're at that dealership and what you did before the dealership. They don't really care. What they care about is the facts. So when you recognize that, maybe start asking them more questions. If you have a customer that you can't seem to figure out, ask them questions. Questions will help guide you through the process. Questions will help get the information you need to close the deal. A customer will tell you all the things they need to have happen to buy the car. We just have to listen. We have to use two of our ears and make sure we understand that I can't just fill the room with my words. I need to let them fill the room with their words. And the way you get customers to talk, to figure out if they're more emotional or more intelligent or a perfect blend, is by asking questions and letting them talk. So remember that when you're with customers. Ask a question and listen to what they're saying. Now, going back to that perfect customer that's a perfect blend of emotion and intelligence. Yes, we love that customer, but they're not out there too often because guess what? We live in a harsh world, and the harsh world creates different types of people. If the world was perfect and everything was smooth and buttery, guess what? We'd probably have the perfect blend of emotion and intelligent customers coming in and to deal with, that understand what you're saying, that care about you, that want to know about you, that ask the question of who's in this picture on your desk, that ask how long have you been here. You start hearing those things from customers, you can recognize, hey, They actually care about me. How long have you worked here, Kyle? Oh, I've been here 8 years. Guess what? That customer has a little emotion. And when they have emotion, those are the things that you can play off of. You can get them ramped up. You can get them to have fun and smile and test drive the car and take that turn fast and get them ramped up, because emotion can buy cars easier than pure intelligence. Intelligence wants to, grind and sit there and pick apart every single thing about your car. Oh, it has a scratch. Well, yeah, it's an 8-year-old car. It's going to have scratches. I'm 41. I have scratches all over and scars. It doesn't mean I'm bad. It doesn't mean this car's bad if it has some scratches and dings and dents. It's an older car. Now, if you want to pay more money and get a perfect car, I got those over there too. They're called new cars, right? And you can have fun with these people and say stuff like that. But you have to recognize what kind of customer you're with. Intelligence, or emotional. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. When I say a customer has high intelligence, low emotion, I'm not saying they're not humans and there's not a fun side to that customer. Of course there is. There is emotion in every customer. The key is finding it, finding the common ground, getting to the point where you can draw emotion out of the intelligent person, the methodical engineer. There is emotion in there. You just have to be good enough to find it. And the same thing with the person that's all emotion. They're not unintelligent. They're not dumb. They just don't show all their cards that they are very smart. You know, you ever meet a person that you think, oh, this guy, he doesn't know that much. I can steamroll this dude. Watch this. I'm going to do this. And then he says things you're like, whoa, okay, I'm dealing with the person that is actually quite intelligent. I don't think there's a dumb person out there that's buying a car, because obviously if you can buy a car, you have the means, you have a job, you're semi-smart. I just think there's people that have more emotions outside of their persona than intelligence, and I think there's people that are more intelligence on the outside and they don't want to show their emotions. So I just want to clarify that we're not dealing with dumb people. We're dealing with smart people that just maybe show their emotions more than their intelligence, and people that show their intelligence more than their emotions. So if you have a person that's very intelligent, trust me, there is emotion in there. You just have to dig 5 times deeper to find it. And if you have a person that's highly emotional, trust me, there's intelligence in there. You just have to dig a little bit deeper to find it. So when you have these customers that are the perfect blend, you'll probably get along with them quite well. They're probably going to be that easier customer. Yes, of course, they're going to put up a fight because everyone wants a good deal. Everyone wants to feel like they're winning, and so on and so forth. Now let's talk about the person that's highly emotional. These are people that get really excited about the car. What would it take to get me in this? And sometimes they have perfect credit and sometimes they don't. But they're extremely emotional and they can't hide it. They get excited. They say, I would love to have this car. Oh, man, hey, Bill, this would be awesome on our camping trips. And they're already talking about owning it. Those customers are fun to deal with outside, but sometimes when we get them inside, we have to explain twice as much on the numbers. We have to explain 3 times as much on how the banks are and how the rates are higher. And we have to bring the intelligence to the desk and bring them to the reality checks, because the emotional customer may not have kept up with the current times. They may not have kept up with the current payment situation. People now used to leave at $600 a month. Now they're leaving at $900 a month. And this is becoming a normal. Well, guess what? That emotional customer may not know that. So we need to bring the intelligence and the information to that customer. But you got to be able to match that emotional customer with your emotion and have fun with them. And remember, be that chameleon and get on their level. If you can get on a customer's level and find that common ground, the sale gets that much easier. The process gets that much easier. So when you're taking it up and you're going through your needs assessment and you're having, you're going through your sales process and you're asking questions, you're having some fun with them, start looking at those little things that the customers are doing or not doing. Are you dealing with the quieter, less emotion, more intelligent customer, or are you dealing with the high emotion? They give you a big handshake when they get out of the car. Yeah, I'm looking for this truck, right? Good emotion. You can feed off that. Now, we've talked about the customer. How about we talk about ourselves and find out what kind of salesperson are we? Are we the high emotion, low intelligence, or the high intelligence, low emotion? The key and the sweet spot is to have the perfect blend of both, because the perfect blend of both can adapt to all customers. Okay, the perfect blend of intelligence and emotion can deal with the engineer, can deal with the fun people, can deal with the guy that's about to blow out because everything you do is wrong and he's mad about everything. You can be able to handle those customers if you have a perfect blend. Now, we've all met that salesperson that is highly educated. They get a job there and they look sharp and they smell good and they got all the characteristics of a killer salesman, and you're almost threatened by them, like, oh, we got a player on our hands, and they fail. They fail within 2 or 3 months because they have too much intelligence. They think about things too much. They can't get in the nitty-gritty emotional side of their persona and match up with these customers. A lot of customers out there have a little more emotion than they have intelligence, right? So if you have a highly intelligent salesperson that has all the degrees, that has the perfect credit score, that has money in the bank, and they have the cookie cutter family and the parents that have the vacation house, sometimes those salespeople, they do terrible because they're too smart for their own good. They look too far forward in the deal. They already are quoting payments on the lot. They already know the incentives and they're shooting all their the information out there. They're already telling the customer, well, we got 1.9 or 0% or all the rebates over here and you could do this. Your payment's going to be around $650, and the customer hasn't test driven it and they're like, oh, that's way too much, because they haven't built the emotional connection to the vehicle. Now, knowing all the information of your incentives and all that, I preach that. Know your stuff. You have to know your stuff, but you also have to know when to show your stuff, and you don't want to give it all away up front because you have nothing to work with after. So recognize, what kind of person am I? Take a moment and think about it. Am I the highly intelligent with not much emotion salesperson? Am I the perfect blend salesperson that can adapt and be a chameleon with anybody? Or am I the highly emotional, gets frustrated with the low intelligence salesperson? And we all know that salesperson. Everything is a grind in their head. They're always failing. They're always upset. They're always had a bad customer. It's like, are you ever happy? You know, that emotional customer. And then when they start getting on the roll, they're the happiest people to be around. You know that salesperson. Think about it in your head. That is some of the most wonderful people to be around when they're happy, and some of the most miserable people to be around when they're upset or sales aren't going their way. That is a person that has more emotion than intelligence. They wear their heart on their sleeve. They can't hide their emotions. They're either cloud 9 or they're in the pits, right? They're in the mud and they're unhappy. So how can we look into ourselves? Because I feel like that's more important, not to necessarily worry about the customer that's coming in, because you can't control that. You're going to deal with it as they come in, the high intelligence or the high emotion or the perfect blend customers. But the thing we can control is ourself, our internals. And if you're a highly emotional salesperson, work on intelligence. Start training with different types of customers. Go online and look at how to deal with different types of customers. How do I deal with the engineer mindset? How do I deal with the emotional customer? How do I deal with the customer that has a perfect blend of both, right? Those are usually the easier ones. But if you're a very emotional salesperson, think about it. I need to slow down. I need to bring it all back in, and I really need to think about things before I act. And if you're that highly intelligent salesperson and you're not having that much success, think about, what can I do to show a little more emotion and bring my intelligence down a little bit, right? We still want to have all the intelligence and be smart, but we don't want it to cripple us. We don't want it to slow us down, being too smart, having too many steps that you have to do before you can take it up, by having too many tight schedules, by being too hard on yourself because you're too methodical and you got the engineer mindset. A lot of times those salespeople fail because they can't adapt on the fly to the emotions of the car business. They can't adapt. And then the salespeople that are too emotional blow out. I can't do this. I can't do this. Of course you can. Anyone can sell cars if you have the right tools. And if you're too emotional, yes, you will blow out of the showroom. You will go back to an hourly job because you couldn't keep your emotions in check. So how do we become the perfect blend of emotions and intelligence? We got to work on it. And we have to be aware right now and think about, where am I at? Maybe draw a diagram, a pie chart. Am I 50-50? Am I the perfect blend of emotion and intelligence where I can keep up with the engineer and I can keep up with the guy that's happy-go-lucky that may blow out if I show him the wrong number? Am I the perfect blend? And when you draw out that pie chart, be honest. Don't just do it real quick. Look at it and say, okay, based on my last X amount of sales, how did they go? How did I react to the failures? How did I react to the successes? And draw out that pie chart and say, okay, 50% is emotion, 50% is intelligence. I'm the perfect car salesperson. Or is it I'm too emotional, I'm 80% emotion, I have my ways ups and downs, and I'm only 20% intelligence? Or am I too darn smart for my own good and I'm already desking the deal right after I met the customer? I'm looking for a car about a $350 payment. We don't have that on our lot if you're looking at ours. The cheapest payment is $450, and that takes $3,000 down, and you have to have a 700 credit score because of the price of vehicles that are just astronomical. You just lost a customer by being too smart. Yes, that is probably the true stats. Yes. Will they sign at $450? If you do a good job selling, they'll sign at anything as long as the bank can approve them for it, right? So think about this episode. Emotion versus intelligence, intelligence versus emotion, the perfect blend of the two. Can you do it? And can you be honest with yourself to try to move forward in your career? This pertains to customers and us. The difference is we can't control the customer's emotions and intelligence. They come in with what they got. We have to be able to control our emotions and our intelligence and be able to adapt to that customer instantaneously. Then we start making more sales. If you take everything I've ever said in the podcast, every episode, this is the 71st episode. If you take them all and you just grab a little bit from each one and truly apply it to yourself, guess what's going to happen? You're going to become a sales titan, and you're going to become the number one salesperson at your dealership. There is no way around it. If you equip your mind with all the skills, all the intelligence, all the emotions, and you bring everything to the highest level, you cannot fail. You cannot not be successful. If you equip yourself with everything that you need to be successful, then you're going to be successful. Leaders are readers. Leaders read. Leaders study, and you need to be a leader in your own career. Have the CEO mindset. Be a businessman, be a businesswoman, be a sales titan, and go out there and lay it on the line every single day and go home tired, hungry, stinky, and you probably sold a car that day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Reach out to me about those one-on-ones. Pick up your books off Amazon. Do what you got to do to be successful. I want you guys to be successful, you girls to be successful, and don't forget, applaud for yourself, pat yourself on the back, and be proud of who you are and what you do, and let everyone know at the top of your voice, I am a car salesperson. I love the car business, and I want to sell you your next vehicle. Give me the opportunity to earn your business, and let me surprise you. Kyle Galaz, signing out.